Today we're going to talk about escaping out a window in a fire or other emergency situation. Mattis, Ackermans, Cook, and Morrison write in Extreme Survival. In a fire or gas emergency, it is imperative that you get yourself and any other occupants out of the building as quickly as possible. In a domestic situation, you should be well aware of your primary escape route, but if fire is barring your way, you will need to seek an alternative. Despite what you may have seen in television dramas and on the cinema screen, the staircase is usually of sufficiently robust construction to survive the early stages of a house fire, and in most multiple occupancy buildings, it will be reinforced and protected to afford a safe escape route. In some circumstances, however, especially if fire doors have been left open, use of the staircase may not be possible and you may need to use a window instead. If window locks are fitted, the key should be kept in a place where it's easy to find, especially in the dark and when under duress. That's a pretty good tip, right? However, if you're in an unfamiliar room and cannot undo the catches, you may have no option but to break the glass. Double-glazed window units, or those with strengthened anti-burglar glass, will not break easily. If you have windows of this kind, it might make sense to mount a safety hammer on the window frame in case the key cannot be found in an emergency. And for those of you who saw my, not on the Superhero channel, but on the ASMR channel, my 2-hour what's in my survival bag thing, showing you what's in my survival bag, you'll see I have like a little weapon that can be used to really easily break a window. It's also a tactical pen. That's a kind of good thing to have in your survival bag, or have something like that next to one of your windows. Preparation is everything. I mean, if you're prepared and you're able to get out, even if you're prepared and nothing happens, that's still way better than not being prepared and something happens. So that would suck. Be aware of glass shards and wrap your arm with thick clothing for protection. If no hammer is available to break the glass, a small and heavy hard object such as a bedside lamp or a metal ornament can be used. If you put this inside a pillowcase and swing it around your head first, the striking power can be increased markedly. Escape from the ground floor room windows is pretty straightforward, and even from those on the floor above the drop should not kill you unless you fall on your head or land on sharp objects such as spiked railings. Why would you live in a house that has spiked railings? Well, I guess if you don't want burglars to get in, that's horrific. Alright, so we're going to go through the window protocol, and then we're going to go through the paratrooper roll and the reverse break roll. These are both very cool. So, first one. This is the picture of the lady who's wrapped her heavy object in a pillowcase and she's using it to break the window. So that's good. And to reduce the severity of injuries, the strongest person should lower the lighter occupants from upper windows rather than letting them jump out. So you drop the children out slowly. As the last one out, you should lower yourself from the ledge to reduce your fall, remembering to bend the knees before the impact, then go into a roll. And we've talked about that before, how that was some of my quabble or squabble with the other survival book we were looking at. It didn't seem to be really anatomically careful and accurate when it comes to heights, whereas this did. So I have really, really liked this book. It's just been, I don't know, particularly the authors have some good credentials, and nothing in here has contradicted anything that I learned through the Wilderness Medicine Society or in the military. And in fact, it's added things that, make medical sense. So I do like this book. I like how they're assuming that you are going to be the last one out because you're the strongest one. If you're using an improvised rope to escape, such as knotted sheets or garments, tie it securely to an immovable object that will bear your weight. That makes sense. If no structural anchor points are available, a strong bed frame can be effective, as it is too large to be pulled through the window. So even if you fall and drag it to the window with you, right, it'll get stuck. Obviously not one that's going to break and shatter. So they want you to grip the improvised ropes between your insteps. That's the inner border of your feet, right? Your foot has like an inner section. You're going to use that. Then you use arm over arm movement to descend rapidly. So even a short rope will reduce your fall, so you slide a little bit. Even if you're not very strong, it's nice to have a rope versus nothing. Obviously, don't just stand on a ledge and jump. Try to find a way to lower yourself gently. You can push a mattress out through the window if possible, followed by bedding and anything else that would cushion your fall. When it looks likely that staying in the room will be more hazardous than risking the fall, drop children and the infirm out the window, sliding them out feet first and lowering them as far as possible by the wrists before letting go over the improvised cushioning. If you have made enough noise, the neighbors may by now be there to catch or steady those who get dropped. If you have an escape rope ready, that would be good, right? But not a lot of people give thought to that. I mean, that'd be a cool thing to put a hammer and escape rope next to every window, right? So these are some rules for preventing injury when you fall. One of the ones that's mentioned, the paratrooper role, one of the authors is a British martial artist, and another one is a military photojournalist, and that's where they learned these, I'm pretty sure. But this is called the paratrooper roll. So you just slightly bent your legs at your knees and hips, just like that guy, as you come down and land. You absorb the initial impact through your bent legs and then roll over onto your thigh and shoulder, swinging the legs over. You kind of let yourself buckle, kind of roll sideways, and then you're supposed to keep rolling. You're supposed to kind of keep rolling as much as you can, right? Keep the knees and heels together and the lead arm tucked in, and that spreads the impact of the fall through the body, saving your ankles and legs. If you have no lateral speed, you'll take the full-on impact with your legs. You must convert this force into rotational energy before it impacts your spine. And it's the same thing. You keep your knees bent before impact. This time, as soon as you hit the ground, you roll backwards as your legs start to bend down, and you strike the ground with your hands. This reduces some impact to your spine, adds to your rotational momentum. You want to roll backwards. See, he keeps rolling backwards. He's whacked the ground, and then here he is continuing to roll backwards, not just falling on his back, but rolling aggressively backwards so that the energy and the force is cycled through. But basically the bottom line, if you're not going to be particularly fancy, bend your knees, loosen your hips, and try to roll over on your shoulder if you can. Whether you're rolling over on your shoulder forward or backwards, the goal is to make sure that the force goes around you instead of just straight through and through your bones that you need. So that's how we escape from windows and shit. Pretty cool, huh?